Hey, it's April, or Miss Brew. I don't know where I'm going to post this video yet. I just have had a lot of people ask me about my flowers and what I do to keep them alive, and I'm just going to be real honest with y'all. I'm just getting the hang of succulents. I have learned a lot, so I'm going to share what I've learned. But as you can see, here are some of my succulents. And some of them look good, and some of them don't look too hot. But it's been a learning process, so I'm just gonna let y'all know what I've learned here. So I have this container that is not really made for flowers. It had some Christmas stuff in it, like some potpourri, and I'm gonna use it to put some succulents in that need to be repotted. So this is first, it's got some water in it from where I rinsed it out. And so I'm just gonna dry that out some so that when I put the other soil down in there, it doesn't, trying to do this one-handed, so it doesn't stick to the sides, because I don't want soil all down the sides. Okay, alright, so that's not the best it can be, but it's pretty good. So now I'm gonna just put some soil in. This soil is a combination of things that I bought. This is a combination of Miracle-Gro cactus soil, which you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Amazon. Right now I recommend Amazon since we're on lockdown. And then I combine it with perlite, which perlite is that stuff that you get in plants that you get from the store, that white stuff that's mixed in with the soil. It looks like styrofoam, but it's actually not styrofoam. It's actually like a small pumice stone, and it breaks really easy, just like styrofoam. So it's easy to think, it's easy to see why you might think that. Now also mixed with this batch right here specifically has like a bunch of different kinds of stone in it, but I buy this stuff called poultry grit. I got this from Amazon for $5, and it's crushed granite. Did you know that chickens need rocks in their stomach to digest food? I know that now. But anyway, you put this in here. I try to have more grit and more chunky stuff in the soil than I have actual soil, because the goal for growing succulents is you don't want the soil to be thick enough or dense enough to hold water, because succulents don't like a lot of water. So I put about a 3-2-1 combination. Like I might put 3 scoops of rock or poultry grit, because you can use pebbles. I bought aquarium pebbles too. I have some of that in some of my plants. And then maybe 2 units of the perlite, and then 1 unit of soil. You want it to be very gritty. If you can pick up the soil and it not stay together when you hold it, then that's the consistency you want. So you want it to be like, it shouldn't hold together. If it holds together, you need to put more grit in it, either perlite or pebbles or the poultry grit, whatever you have. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this into my container. Now, y'all don't mind my table. It's old and well loved. So I got this cute little scoop off of Amazon too, and a little succulent gardening tool kit. You don't have to do that. I've used those little weed jars. You can use anything. But anyway, you're gonna fill this. I'm gonna fill this up. Usually, you want a drainage hole in the bottom. I don't have a drainage hole in this, so I'm gonna put extra of this soil so that I can make sure that the water has a place to go and doesn't get so that the water doesn't settle onto the roots of the succulent, but instead it settles in the bottom where it's not touching the roots. You don't want to get root rot. If you have a plant, succulent, or really any plant that's getting too much water, you can get root rot, and root rot will kill your plant. On a succulent, if you think you have root rot, you'll notice that the root of the plant is mushy. I hope I'm not getting this in my coffee. Coffee is life. You'll notice that the leaves and the stem of the plant are kind of mushy and move more than it should move. Your succulent stem should be kind of firm. Shouldn't get a lot of movement. If it looks black or brown or kind of mushy, that's probably root rot. With a succulent, you can just cut the root rot off and then leave the plant to grow some roots, and eventually you will have another plant again. It doesn't mean death if your plant gets root rot. It just means you have to start over, kind of. Okay. So I'm going to just put a couple more scoops in here. And I want to show you, I have some of this moss in here that I bought that I thought would look real nice on my plants. And I accidentally got some of that stuck down in the layers of soil. Bad idea, because it holds water. And then I put some on top of my plants, and as long as they're looking healthy, I think that's okay. But if it's holding moisture in, you don't want that. You can always put rocks, pebbles, whatever else on top of your plants if you want it to look decorative. So anyway, I pulled this out of a different plant because I thought it was kind of choking my plant. Alright, so here I have, you can see it's about 1/3 of the way full. And so I'm going to put in my succulents now that I pulled out earlier. I pulled it actually out of this container earlier because I noticed that the soil that I had in here had some mold on the bottom, and because it's a clear container, I saw that, was lucky I was able to save the plants and throw the soil out and start over fresh. But if I hadn't been able to see that, if it had been in a pot like one of these where I can't see what's going on the bottom, it would have maybe caused my plant to ruin before I could save it. So anyway, so here I have my my soil. Maybe just a couple more scoops. Just a couple more. Okay. And you can see that soil is mostly perlite, which is that white stuff. And you can see that it will break just super, well, of course this one that I'm picking up right now isn't. But it breaks super duper easy. There it goes. And it's just like styrofoam, but it's actually not. It's a pumice stone. Okay. So here are this is called a firestorm, and these usually grow best outside, but it's too rainy outside for succulents right now because we get a lot of rain here, especially lately, and so we don't want to put it outside yet. It'll get too much moisture and will die. So unless you have it on like a cover porch. So I'm just going to throw it down in there. Really not in any kind of order. Okay, then this is called an elephant bush plant, and it was bigger, but it got damaged a little bit when I was trying to save it. And it will grow also in here pretty easily. Really, you can put just about any kind of succulents together. There are some you don't want to mix, like some that are like outdoors and some that are not supposed to be outdoor plants, but I don't know a whole lot about that right now. I'm still trying to experiment and research. I do not know what kind of succulent this is, but again, some of it died previously, but it still has a good stem and it's still green on top, so it'll grow, and it has all these roots. As long as it has a root that's healthy, it'll grow. And I'm just throwing it down in there. Not really any rhyme or reason. Let's see. Oh, and I have one more. This is a jade. This is a small jade plant. You can't really kill a jade. Jades there's a lot of varieties, but this one is, I don't know what kind it is. I know it's jade. It's the jade that grows easy. So here it is. It also came out of the other plant. You can see it's got plenty of roots, and it's going to get bigger. And I'm going to put it down in here. as well. I'm going to kind of dig in, and you guys can see it doesn't look real pretty right now, but it'll grow bigger and get prettier. So it will. As long as they have roots, it'll grow prettier. Now, what I would not suggest doing is putting any... I'm not going to put any water in this right now because there's already a little bit of water and that soil is just a little bit moist. That's probably enough for my plants. Plus, with the soil that I took them out of before was moist, so they should still have some moisture. The biggest thing that kills succulents is over-watering. If you notice that the leaves are kind of yellowing on the bottom, you're probably over-watering. If you notice that your leaves of your succulents are not real colorful, it probably needs light. The biggest things for succulents are dry soil, not too much moisture, and a lot of light. They need a lot of light. So always put it near like a sunny window. Here's my window. And even if they're getting light, sometimes they have to have like 12 hours of light during the day and 12 hours at night is a good rule of thumb. And I'm going to transplant a lot of these to put them on my porch when it gets warm enough outside, probably around the middle of April. Around Mother's Day is a good idea, when there's no danger of frost and no danger of too much water. So anyway, this is done. You can see what it looks like. I did not put much more soil on that. You don't want to cover the roots up. I mean, I'm going to put maybe just a little bit, but you really don't have to do a whole lot. You really just, kind of with succulents, you just kind of stick them in there and forget about them, and then they usually do pretty good. I will say that the things that have caused me to lose more succulents than anything else was over-watering and not enough light and the soil being too thick. You don't want to use regular potting soil. You want to use the cactus potting soil. I get the Miracle Grow kind, but there's other kinds. And then even with that, I'm mixing the perlite and the poultry grit, which again, poultry grit is just crushed up rock, so any kind of rock will really help. And you don't want it to hold. So here, that's my succulent. That's your potting succulent lesson today. I know this makes no kind of sense and that I'm rambling. Sorry about that, but some people ask, so there you go.